Welcome to Bleav in 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav in 76ers is presented by betonline.ag.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA, college basketball, to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Although the NFL season is done, there's still many games to be played between college basketball, NBA, NHL, and WNBA. There's always time to embrace your inner underdog. All you got to do is predict higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. If you've yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code ChiefConcerns, one word, to claim your free pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So let's continue to keep the good vibes going into the spring season. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav in 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow and my brother Teja Dash. So guys, All-Star break come and gone. And I was hoping that we'd be on kind of a surge, kind of momentum going into this podcast tonight. But last night kind of put a little hindrance on that. A little bit, took the wind out of our sails a little bit. But how is everyone doing? How was your All-Star break? Did you guys enjoy the festivities this past weekend or not really?
Doing well. I don't really watch All-Star like that, but if I catch some stuff, I catch it. So no, I kind of seen the highlights. I didn't really watch it.
You didn't miss much.
Do you think they need to go to more of the because everyone's talking about the formats of it? I know we talked about in the past, just kind of maybe even doing away with the All-Star game. Some people are saying that maybe the NBA should kind of do what the NHL is doing with the Four Nations kind of thing. Do you think that would be a bit of a nice change up for the All-Star game or not?
It
really?
would be a nice change up for people watching, but at the end of the day, I mean, the guys have to want to do that. I firmly believe that the guys just want the time off. I think they want to be All-Stars without the festivities. I just think that's where it's at. It's when you're in it and they say it's an All-Star break. So say, for instance, you play Wednesday, you don't play again until that next Thursday. So if you play that Wednesday, most of the time you got to report Thursday. So you report Thursday. You have all kinds of things to do. You practice all the stuff to do Friday, then Saturday, then you play Sunday, and then you leave Monday. And then they expect you to practice Tuesday or Wednesday. So to them, well, some guys that aren't All-Stars were off from Wednesday to Tuesday. So it's not necessarily looked at as a break. So you get the tribute of being an All-Star, but you don't get the break of being an All-Star. That's not new. That's not a new complaint. That was a complaint early in my career when I first came into the league, because the breaks were even shorter when I played. We were playing Wednesday and games were played Tuesday after the All-Star break. And some people would play Thursday, Tuesday. So the breaks were really, really short. Guys would, it's not really a break. Like, you get there and like you don't play, but it's still like not a real break as far as time off, resting, not doing anything, or just kind of being on the beach or wherever you want to be and not do anything. So I always attended All-Star because I was a vice president in the union, and we had our meetings during that time. And I didn't participate from a festivity standpoint except for 1 year in Philly. And it does, and I didn't feel like I had a break. I mean, especially if you count the partying and all that stuff you do. If you count that, you definitely don't feel like you have.
You have to go to those. It's like
yeah. Oh, trust me, I did my share. So, So, like the player part of me understands that a lot of them want the break. I mean, they negotiated the time to make it longer. And part of that was because of it's not really a break. So if guys are taking time off and not playing, that's where the disconnect between the players and the league comes in. But I don't want to see it go away totally. It's obviously a big deal with TV negotiations, so it's not going anywhere because it's a big deal with that. So we know it's not going anywhere. I mean, the country's format, I like that.
That definitely wouldn't be a break though, because these hockey players have been playing like every day for like 5 days almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
That's a lot.
I don't think you can just make it about the game. I think you can make it about the weekend. So you have the game per se, but you also have the 3-point contest and all the other stuff, the same setup. I think where the league was trying to, I don't know if maybe it was a great idea when they first did it, but I don't know if it is now. Well, they were trying to get the All-Stars more involved in other events. Trying to get the All-Stars to 3-point contest, skills event, and all that other stuff. You're trying to get more All-Stars involved. That just makes it more things for them to do. So I don't know if that came from just making them more visible, or you have lack of interest from players that aren't All-Stars. So I do know that was a thing. Maybe when I played or right at the end of my career or right after I finished, I know that was a thing where they wanted to get more All-Stars involved. So I really don't have any answers, man. I know that it has to change, but I can say this: no matter what they do, if guys aren't willing to kind of give the effort that's needed, it really doesn't matter what they do. And I don't think that's an American thing. I think, you can do the American versus world, you can do whatever you want. I just think the guys really want the time off. But I think financially, the league is committed to not doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. I know as far as rest-wise, I know the NHL, they play like 2 days later. Like last night was the end of it, and Saturday I think the games begin. So those guys really didn't get any rest at all. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, we'll see. I know there's a lot of different, people have their opinions and different suggestions for it. But at the end of the day, it's all comes down to the players and the kind of the willingness of wanting to do it. Yeah. But, all right. So now we got to get into 76.
By the way, I was 3 for 3 picking out the winners, though.
You were. All 3 of them.
I don't remember
that. Technicality on the Spurs and Cavaliers one, though.
My team would have won if they, probably wouldn't have cheated, as they say. They cheated. I didn't see it as cheating.
You didn't see it as cheating?
No, supposedly they asked, could they do that before?
Yeah.
So if you ask, how's it cheating? If you ask, they say do it.
I know. Yeah. I thought that was weird too.
So
I'll take the win though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only winning you're getting, buddy, because after last night's performance, oof.
Good segue.
Right. Yeah. So last night, Sixers played the Celtics, hosted the Celtics, and lost 124-104. For me, I thought the game was over right when Peyton Pritchard and Cornette kind of went off for what seemed like a 20-0 run between the two of them, which was unreal. Celtics hit 24 threes to the Sixers 8 threes. So we scored 24 points from threes, and they scored 24 threes. So kind of a rough one. But after the game, Embiid kind of had a lot to say about his injury and where he was at. And so here's Joel Embiid after the game last night.
Where I was playing a year ago, it's not the way I'm playing right now, and it sucks. But I Bleav I just probably need, to fix the problem, and then I'll be back at that level. But it's hard to have trust when you're not yourself. And yeah, I mean, not as dominant as I was a couple months ago. And but that doesn't mean I still can't have a lot of impact on the game. It's just me being out there, I think helps a lot. Just my presence, ability to track double teams, getting guys more shots. But my dominant self, I get that. No, it's just tough because you can do so much more. But when it's just well, there's no excuses. It's just the way it is.
So obviously a lot to unpack from that quote there. But what did you guys make of the first game after All-Star break and Joel Embiid's post-game comments?
Well, I mean, this first thing I gather is some things is out of his control. That's the first thing. And I think, from my perspective, the most disappointing thing is I'm not on here to say I was right or I called it a long time ago. Is I just think they handled it so incorrectly. But from him being out and the way he looked when he came back, I'm not sure he's ever been good this year. And that's a disappointing part. And you can see and hear his disappointment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm kind of torn on it because I'm like, do you let him just be whatever percent he is and know that and see if that can help you win? Or do you try to get whatever procedure he needs done and give more time in between now and next season? But like I've said before, we don't know if that procedure is going to solve anything. We don't know. People always assume that someone gets a surgery or they gets a procedure that is supposed to all of a sudden make it better. In my experience, I've had surgeries. My son had a surgery, or I know people that have had surgeries. We've had surgeries, or they had surgeries that made them able to still participate, but it didn't necessarily make them better than what they were before. And that's a misconception with the procedures and surgeries. That people think that sometimes when you have them that you're going to come back and all of a sudden you're that same person that you were before. It's been a year, guys. It's been a year.
Yeah.
So it's been a year and we're still here. That kind of tells me that within that year, something was done, or things wasn't done, the decisions were made, and you're still here. So at what point did they say, okay, another procedure is probably necessary? That's the question that I think would answer a lot. Like, was he told when he came out and said he may need a new procedure, or was he told this in September and October and he just decided to try to see if he can play through it?
But there are sources that say that no one in the organization thinks he needs another one. That's the weird thing.
They said they don't think he needs another one.
Yeah, there are sources that I thought I read, Marcus, who reported that? Was it Newbeck or Bodner?
Derek Bodner of the PHLY, he said that he had talked to numerous sources within the organization, and they said there's no real magical operation that's going to fix his knee. And he said it's kind of this up in the air as what this operation is, because he said from people he's talked to, there's no imminent operation for him. So that's just more uncertainty.
Yeah, it's more bad communication in a string of bad communications. So
whoever wrote that, right? Whoever said that, correct? And they watch the games?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You'd imagine they watch the games, right? So they can watch him play and they don't think that anything needs to be done?
I think I'm not an avid listener, but I listen enough to know that he knows something's wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if people are people can actually come out with a quote like that and say there's nothing, no kind of procedure that can fix it. So are you saying that he's offended, he's done?
This is it for him? This is what he's going to be?
That's what I'm taking from that quote. There's no procedure that can fix it. Well, what do you mean it can't fix it? This is tolerance now? It's a tolerance injury? So did he hurt his meniscus? Was that what it was last year?
Yes.
His meniscus?
Yeah.
Oh, he's bone on bone. He's like me. Everything I've been telling you guys, that's what it is. He's bone on bone.
So what would another surgery do then?
It kind of depends on whether they repaired it or they just shaved it down. For my instance, they shaved it down, which made it smaller. It was a little piece, pieces that were off, and they shaved it, and that made it temporarily good. But as time going on, now I don't have one almost on the inside of my knee. My left one, my right one's almost like that. So you guys don't probably have an experience, but I know a lot of people have. You walk in and you just take a step and you feel like your leg's gonna give out, or you just have a little sharp pain if you take a wrong step down the step or something like that.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. Try to exercise when I exercise and try to lose weight. It swells up. I walk, it swells up. I stand for coaching, it swells up. So I hope he's not where I'm at. I really do. Because I retired because of that. I didn't retire. I had a broken ankle with a plate and 7 screws in it that I played with for 7 years with it. And at no time did that make me feel like I needed to retire. I lost flexibility in it. I lost strength in my right ankle and everything. Strength, speed, I lost everything from it. But I never felt like I needed to retire because of that. But as soon as my knee happened and I was getting drained, the knee was getting drained and it'll still swell back up, I knew I was done. I hope, like I say, I hope he don't have that. I really don't. I mean, I really, so. But I've been saying for a while that his injury looks and smells like mine.
What's crazy to think about is that what if we didn't give him that extension right now? What if we were sitting here and he was an upcoming free agent soon? There'd be all this chatter about all this stuff would be times 1,000 right now.
Well, I mean, it would be a lot more secrecy with everything if that was the case.
More secrecy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty secretive right now, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely wouldn't have said he needed no surgery if he was an upcoming free agent. That's for sure. But yeah, I think about that sometimes. I'm like, man, there would be a lot of "don't re-sign Joel" tweets out there.
There's a lot of trade Joel tweets out there right now.
Yeah, well, that ain't happening with the money.
No, I'm just saying to that same point. Yeah, a lot of Sixers fans who want to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
But just look at his meniscus history. So in 2016, 2017, he had a season-ending left meniscus injury in 2016, 2017. In 2021, small meniscus tear in his right knee. And then last year, the displaced flap in the lateral meniscus of his left knee. They cut a torn piece of the meniscus in his meniscectomy procedure that he had last year.
Is that not basically what I just said?
Yeah.
He's bone on bone. So I know there's some procedures that I was told that you can pretty much replace the meniscus. But like I said, I have those conversations to walk and do the stuff that I do now.
Yeah, be functional.
Not try to play NBA basketball.
Be functional in the world without having pain. Yeah.
Yeah. So without, ever trying to consider a knee replacement. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm there, try to, do that. But I do know that there are some procedures that people, just totally replace the meniscus. And the one thing I was told, like I said, my legs are a little bold below my knees. So that matters a lot for me because it puts more pressure on the inside of my knees where my meniscus is. There's some people that I believe Jordan or some other people that played without a meniscus and played a lot. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's different as far as how they handle it too. But Joel, and with his size and what he plays, I think that this is going to be an ongoing issue. That being said, he can still be a productive guy in the NBA. It's just a matter of, how consistently productive as far as games will be the issue. So he can play. I mean, even though he didn't score a lot this last game, but I think, days off, he can go out and still get you 20 and 10. It's just you just gonna have a different guy. You're gonna have the guy that's rebounding, blocking shots, running, and doing all of that. I guess but the Sixers need to figure out what they're gonna do with this. This, how can I say it? Him saying one thing and sources saying another.
Yeah.
I do believe that for Joel to say that, and then somebody would come out and say sources said differently, somebody wanted that out there to object to what he said.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he never plays again, he'll get his money, but, I would imagine what the Sixers deal with the insurance is. Whether, insurance is still paid.
That's the thing. I mean, I don't see him not playing. I just see him not playing every 3 games for the rest. I mean, he could probably do that for another 4 years, right? I mean, rest 2 games, play again. I mean, like, are we going to win with that? No, probably not. But I don't know. It's a weird situation because it's not like it's a guy who played like 80 games every year. And then all of a sudden this is unacceptable for him. We've gotten used to kind of working around Joel's rest management schedule for so long that it all kind of feels normal to us.
Yeah.
Do you think it's optimistic for him to say that all I do is I probably need to fix the problem and then I'll be back at that level, that dominant level? Is that just hopeful talk? I mean,
yeah, I think it's hopeful talk because no procedure is guaranteed. None is 100% guaranteed. So we don't know because he's already had a procedure, right?
Well, yeah, and Morey said he spoke to the 8 specialists before they gave him that contract, and they said,
okay,
he'll get better.
So
it's taking longer than we expected.
Either he never got better or something else happened. Like, that's the part that we also aren't told.
Yeah.
Yeah, never missed a practice during the Olympics. And then what happened in that period.
Looked better in the Knicks series. How about that? He was more active in the Knicks series. He did.
That's
He
what
did
I'm
that.
saying. I think he can.
He did that throw of the backboard dunk, and then got injured again, and still looked pretty decent after that.
Yeah, I mean, you playing
You wouldn't dare try that kind of move right now.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I think that if you get him to the playoffs, he can do that. I believe that he can do that. But I also believe that something else happened since then. Yeah. I don't believe this is the same injury as last February.
You don't think you think something else happened?
I believe something additional happened. Yes, that's my belief.
That's the extra piece that I think would make sense to a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's what's so confusing about it all. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. You've not improved since last year?
A procedure a year ago. So I'm just saying, it was a procedure a year ago, and you never improved, and then now we're here in a year later, and you're like, oh yeah, well now I need another procedure. At no time during that time did they see anything else needed to be done.
Rough.
It's terrible.
Did you see? I did notice in the Celtics game, people were posting clips after the fact that on their defensive coverages, they were letting Oubre shoot, and they were just playing. They were kind of high fronting Embiid with the guy who was guarding Oubre and letting Oubre just kind of do whatever he was doing. And obviously, on defense, I mean, putting him in the drop coverage, that was rough to watch. Embiid trying to kind of be able to. I mean, they were just like finding him and going after him last night, and that's the part where it's like, that's, as a fan of Embiid, that's sad to watch, to see him obviously, favoring his leg a little bit there. That's the part that's just hard to watch, see him out there like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough part about the playoffs, because that's all the playoffs it would be. The difference with Boston is Boston has the talent across the board to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Not everybody has guys that 1 through 5 shoot threes. And then you bring in 6 that can shoot 3, 6 or 7 that can shoot threes. And then they shot it well. So yeah, that's a tough matchup. But when you show that you're going to continue to drop coverage, that's what you're gonna get. I mean, it's ways to, if you want to drop, there's ways to go over the top and still make them try to drive, but I don't know. But then they just throw it back to the other guy. Then you got to come out and guard somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's ways that you can deal with that. It's things that you can do defensively. You can run and jump. You can in full rotate and have guys like you can. There's things you can do. I don't know if teams do that stuff anymore, especially during the regular season.
Did you? There was a quote here that kind of a lot of people were running with last night, making fun of Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, yeah. So Nick Nurse was asked about his rationale in going zone against the three-point launching Celtics last night. And he said, since the Sixers were already giving up threes in man, it was worth trying to change their rhythm with a zone defense look. And a lot of people were saying, you're going zone against a team that's just launching threes at you. I mean, do you find any problem with that? A lot of people were just saying, our man wasn't working anyways. Let's go to a zone to see if that can stop them from launching threes at us.
I believe and understand that you try to make a change. I don't know if zone was something I would have done for a team that was already shooting threes. I think zone just opens up more angles for threes, and it makes it harder to rebound. I would be more inclined to go zone when teams are penetrating your defense and getting in the paint, more so the teams are just They do the same thing. Just set a pick and roll and pick and pop. I mean, they got 5 guys on the perimeter. Like you can match up, but you can't match up when they still have guys that can drive your zone and draw 2 people. And you got to be very disciplined to play that zone and only let one guy stay on the ball handler. And like I don't know if they spend that much time with it. Zone works if the teams are shooting the ball well, but shooting will always win against the zone.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's other things that you can do defensively if you want a guy to be in drop coverage. We kind of did some of that with the late Dikembe. We would, but we had maybe we had the personnel to do it. I don't know. You can have me or Allen coming off. Allen didn't like guarding pick and rolls at all, so we had to do different stuff. It was harder for him to get over top of some of the pick and roll, so we could run and jump, and the guy come off the pick and roll, and the center they wouldn't let his guy roll, and we come off, and it's almost like a trap, and then we rotate out, and then Allen was so fast he could always get to the furthest guy away. So you eliminate sort of a clean look, but you eliminate Allen really trying to teams putting him in a lot of pick and rolls. So that was something we kind of did to certain teams that had a lot of shooting. There was other things that you could do. I don't know if they spend that much time on defense. The pick and roll for, with the personnel, if a guy's a right-hand guy and you play him one way if his pick and roll is going right, you play him another way if his pick and roll is going left. If he's on the left side, you do one thing. If he's on the right side, you do one thing. He's up top, you do another thing. If he's on the right side, he's with a pick and pop guy, you play a certain way. If he's with a guy that don't pick a pop, you play it another way. Like, I don't know if they put that much emphasis on defense nowadays. I don't think they do.
Well, so judging by the amount of threes we give up, I'm going to say
that's no. What I'm saying. So if a team is shooting well, you just say, "Oh well."
Yeah, we've been saying, "Oh well."
It's "Oh well." We goes on. So
we've been saying,
I don't know if I don't know. I know teams probably do that in the playoffs. I do believe that they do it in the playoffs. I don't think they do that during the regular season. I don't think they put that much on defense. But most of my years, it was. Especially early on, there was a lot of veteran guys. So you did stuff like that. And you have to talk it out and know who's in the pick and roll. And we didn't play the pick and roll. Like, I'll just say Philly, for instance. Like, we didn't play the pick and roll if Tyrone Hill was involved or George Lynch was involved versus Dikembe involved. Like, we didn't always play that the same way, even though we're pick and roll with Kobe Bryant. We may play it differently based on who's in it. We played it differently based on whether Shaq is setting the screen or Robert Horry setting the screen. You can't play everything the same.
100%, yeah.
So I think a lot of days nowadays they just kind of play everything the same. They don't based on personnel or your personnel or their personnel. It's just like, this is how we do it. And this is what we're going to do no matter who's in it.
Well, with Boston, I guess you could, because like you said, everyone can shoot.
Yeah, so you have to basically what they're saying is you got to come out and guard. You got to come up off that paint because we got 5 guys. We're going to continue to put you in the pick and roll. Either the ball handlers are going to come off and shoot, or if they get over the top, then we're going to pop the screener, and then you're going to have to come out to the screener. But there's ways to get over that too. You got to full rotate. You got to just rotate, then and you get the guy to come in, somebody else can rotate instead of Joel. There's ways around it where Joel can never get in rotation. Now, you got to work, but you got to work at it, and you got to be about who you do. So now that we see this is where Joel is, that's something they have to be thinking about. That's something they have to put in.
Yeah.
What can we do to contest these shots and keep Joel out of as many rotations as possible? That's up for them to figure out, but that's what's needed.
That's why there's levels to this. Larry Brown and Nick Nurse. Maybe even a little more of a drop off there. Yeah. Did you guys? One thing I will say is this is Boston's premier team in the league, and I feel like a lot of people online wanted to be upset about the Sixers losing last night. Did you guys expect us to win that game last night? You know, the 7 days off. Did you guys expect us to win that game last night? Because it seemed like a lot of Sixers Twitter was surprised that we lost that game last night. Maybe
I think based on how we played against them on Christmas Day and knowing that they're a top team and we had it, all those guys played, I would assume that it would have been a closer game. I think my disappointment was that it was really not close from early on.
Yeah.
If they kind of pull away later in the game, I kind of know that wasn't a 20-point game. But it was probably more than a 20-point game the way the game went.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but not surprised.
It was 20-point game for the majority of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I don't understand why people are so surprised anyway, though. You're not going to magically fix your problems. I mean, we were struggling against bad teams before the break. Why all of a sudden we come out and beat the best team in the league?
It ain't about beating them, but I think I don't know if people were necessarily surprised we lost, but I think maybe people were surprised that we didn't seem very competitive.
Yeah. But that's been the story. I mean, that was a story against the Pistons. The story against a lot of teams. We're not competing in games.
No, I'm just saying as far as competitive, like it didn't seem like it was a close game. Like we seemed like we're nowhere near their level.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Especially
I'm just guessing that that's what people are thinking.
Yeah.
Especially when you look on paper too, right? It looks like it should be a lot closer. You're like, man, we got him. That's
what I'm saying. With everyone playing, so with everyone playing, right? Except I don't know whoever didn't play, Drummond or whatever.
Gordon, I think just Gordon.
Just said like for the most part, your main guys played. Now we know Joel to be limited, right? But after a break, you don't assume for everybody else to be limited. So in a game where Joel can give you close to 20 points, you would expect that Maxey and Paul George can make you competitive.
Yeah.
Keep you competitive. That wasn't the case. So that's a little disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, disappointing, definitely. I'm not. Yeah. I'm
not surprising to me, but disappointing.
No. No, yeah. I'm
the outcome.
Yeah, I
guess especially the last time we played, we had that 27-point lead going into like the third quarter. I mean, we didn't have Embiid or Paul George. We showed more life in that game. We ended up losing because they went on a tear in that fourth quarter, but we showed more life in that game without our two stars.
I think I'm disappointed that we're not more pleasantly surprised by how close the game can be. I guess is the best way to put it. Because, this doesn't surprise me because that's been our play for a long time now, but you actually see it and you're like, man, we're getting dismantled here. It's like not even.
Yeah, because I guess it takes away the excuse of, our guys need rest. You know, where we're injured, we need rest. And we had 7 days off and come back to that. But on the positive side, Paul George was our high point guy last night, 17 points, and I think he was 7 of 14. So, I mean, a pretty efficient game from him. So we're getting in the right direction, moving in the right direction with Paul George. So
Pulse.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So our next topic. So one of the things that a lot of people in our comment section for the last year, I would say, have been driving home Lonnie Walker. They wanted Lonnie Walker, and the Sixers went out and got Lonnie Walker, signed him to a 2-year deal, worth $3.7 million. Walker had been playing overseas for BC Zalgiris in Lithuania, had an NBA out in his deal, which had to be activated by February 18th. Walker was the former number 18th overall pick in 2018, spent the first 4 seasons of his career with San Antonio before playing with the Lakers and the Nets. Went to training camp with the Boston Celtics, but despite some impressive moments during the preseason, Celtics ultimately waived him due to luxury tax concerns. In a matter of a few weeks, the Sixers have gone from an older team, with Kyle Lowry, Reggie Jackson, a lot of older guards, to kind of a younger, athletic, and dynamic guard rotation with Lonnie Walker, Grimes, Jared Butler. What do you guys kind of make of the addition of Lonnie Walker and what it seems like the Sixers are trying to do with our guard rotation?
I really don't know. I mean, my son had asked me this right here. I mean, we have a lot of guys at that position that are younger, um, and arguably outside of Maxey, the most impressive one, all of them, just turned 21, and will be back next year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like the talent that we display there. I just don't know like sort of the plan here with it. Um, what are we trying to do? But Lonnie Walker is definitely a guy that has proven to be an NBA player and a guy that can be a rotational player in the NBA. So I'm happy to have a guy like that. I just don't know if like right now, like is it security for someone leaving? Like what is it? Like I'm just not sure what the real motivation behind it is.
Yeah. Some people even consider in some lineups Justin Edwards plays 2 sometimes. More of a 3, but
Yeah.
if you include him too, it's like
that's what I'm saying. Like
a lot.
It's
a lot.
You still have Consul Jr. Like you have guys that all seem to sort of play around the same position or sort of do the same thing a little bit. Athletes that they're wing guys that can make a 3, but not necessarily knock down shooters. And they're all like wing guys. Like they're pretty much look like guys you may stack. I don't know.
I mean, it's good to have youth. I like, we have George who's older and Embiid who's playing like he's older. So it's good to have youth pretty much everywhere else now. I like the moves we made during the season. I think the moves we made during the season make more sense than some of the moves we made in the offseason at this point. But Maxey, McCain, Grimes, Walker, Butler, Edwards, if you count him as a 2, it's young, it's athletic. And finally where we should be considering the, again, the age of George and Embiid. So, I think the future's bright at the guard. I don't know what it does for on the court. We're building a lot. I just don't know how much on the court it's going to help. I mean, because it kind of sets us back yet again, right? I mean, we're new players, new lineups. We're always seem to be kind of adding someone else. And Grimes is getting major minutes and he's starting.
Yeah.
So more adjustment period for us. But as far as they seem to be more future moves than they are for today. And I think if we have a top heavy roster the way we have with George, Maxey, and Embiid, we need to have as much cheaper talent as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lonnie Walker's been one of those names that a lot of fans have been wanting for a long time. So they finally got their wish with that. So and 2 years, $3.7 million deal, pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to get to kind of prediction aspect of things. Obviously, we talked about before. A lot of fans want to shut it down, but aside from the organization, they want to play for this play-in spot. So we have 27 games left after last night. So 27 games left. Still 1.5 games behind the Chicago Bulls. Sixers players seem pretty confident about making a run. They talked to Yabu, Grimes before the game last night. Everyone seemed pretty positive about the talent that we have in the room. I don't know, maybe last time I've changed some things. But nonetheless, so 27 games left. What is your best case scenario record with the 27 games left? You guys could kind of give me a win-loss on what you expect our record to be after the 27 games.
What is our record now again?
We are 20-35 currently.
And we have 27 games left?
Yep.
And where are we from the 10th seed?
1.5 games behind.
1.5 games left.
Yeah, the Sixers, Nets, and Bulls all lost last night, and the Raptors. So, collectively.
27. Do I think we win half of those? Or above half? Can't be half because it's an odd number. I don't think we lose 17 of it. I would say we win. And that's not counting the Celtics game, right?
No.
I say we win 14.
So 14-13.
Yeah. I'm probably the low 10% or less that feel that way.
But
But I'll
I
say
think it's wishful thinking on a lot of the Sixers fans' part. So they want us to tank, so they're going to say, "Oh no, we're going to be horrible in this last 27
now
games."
if we're tanking, then we may not win 8 games.
I just went through them. Even
We have one of the easiest schedules.
I noticed that. But even with that, I had us splitting against some of the bad teams. So with splitting against some of the bad teams, I had us around like 12 and 15, 13 and 14 area.
I mean, I think it comes down to if we're really trying to get into the playoffs. I think if we're really trying to get in, then we'll win 14 games, at least 14.
Yeah, I think the games against the Brooklyns and Chicagos of the world and Toronto's is like vital. It's vital for both, actually. If we lose against those teams, those are the gimmies that we need to win because we're probably going to lose against the really, really good playoff teams. And if we lose to those teams, we get it's a wrap, and we actually get it's good for our tank seeding.
Yeah,
because those are the ones we're contending against. So those are the most vital games, like the ones against other teams that are near us in the standings right now. If we lose to them,
so people really want to tank to get the sixth spot, or are they tanking because they think we can hopefully get number 1?
I think they just want any pick within the top 6 because they think you can get a nice wing to go with Maxey and McCain to build for the future. That's what I've seen a lot of the average takes of the Sixers Twitter.
Got it.
Are we gonna do two and a half?
Are you a fan of Ace Bailey from Rutgers, Eric? How do you like his game?
Yeah, he can play. I don't think he'll be available at 6, but I think he can play. He's young. He's a bigger guy, taller guy. He can play.
Yeah.
You got to wait for him, but he can play.
2.5 games ahead of Toronto. 3 games.
Yeah.
Got it.
But I think we play them 2 or 3 more times. So if they sweep us, then there you go. Hello 5. So I don't know, man. It's
kind of like what you said. I think a big part of this whole thing is going to be pretty much how we do this weekend with these games we have coming up this weekend, which we're about to predict. So Saturday, huge game. Brooklyn Nets are going to be coming to town. First, we're tied right now in the seedings. Big game as far as if we want to tank or if we actually want to vie for that play-in spot. So who do you have in this game on Saturday against the Brooklyn Nets?
I think we'll win. I mean, I think it's coming to the point where, from the guys' perspective, I mean, you can say you want to tank, but I don't know how you tell the guys that. Like, you still got to go out there and try to win the game. So I think that for the most part, guys are still playing for contracts and whatever else. I mean, playing for pride. I think that we go out and we win it, especially at home. Like, you just can't keep losing. Like, that's not fun, man. It really isn't. So hopefully we can, especially after what happened against Boston. So I think we come out and win the game.
I think we win too. Talent's not even a question. It's just crazy how we have to even contemplate this. Like, these should be no-brainers. Brooklyn, we're tied with Brooklyn. Look at our rosters. Forget about the money aspect of it. Just look at the rosters. Look at the starting fives. Like, they're not trying to field a winning team.
Yeah.
And we're a win now team. It's just it's crazy. I think we win. I think if we don't win, I don't know. It could be much lower than that. Coming off 6 straight, that would be our 7th straight, and that would be 2 straight to Brooklyn. In less than in the last 3 games, and especially that's the response off of a Boston loss.
Yeah,
to lose that would just be, I don't know, man. You might need to shut people down before they start clawing at each other and blaming each other.
Well, yeah, that's probably going to be the signal on Monday. So Monday we play the Bulls, so the team that we're 1.5 games behind for the 10th spot. We'll be hosting them as well in Philadelphia. Who do you guys have in that one? And hypothetical, if we do lose this game, let's say we split this weekend, we lose one of those games. Do you see a sign of them maybe shutting down guys after this weekend?
Who do they play Monday?
Chicago.
Is that a home or away game?
Home.
I think we win. I mean, Chicago's playing hard though. I mean, I watched their game against the Knicks. They tried to win that game, so this guy's going to have to compete. But if for some way, I think we win both games at home. If we don't, you'll start seeing guys out for injuries and out for this reason. Like, you'll start seeing it. I firmly believe.
Even if we split or lose both?
Lose both.
Yeah.
Lose both.
Teja, who do you have on Monday?
I have us winning. I mean, this is why these games, I'll be surprised at us losing. Boston's one thing, but especially if all of our guys are there. An 80% Paul George and a 70% Embiid with the rest of our roster should still beat these teams.
Yeah.
Maybe not good enough for Boston, but certainly good enough to beat Brooklyn and Chicago, not back-to-backs, and at home.
Yeah.
And especially when you're about to go play New York, Golden State, Portland luckily is at home, but then Minnesota, at Boston, and then you have 3 easier ones in Utah, Atlanta, Toronto. But then you go and play, Indiana, who's game to game, who we don't match up well against. Dallas, talk about playing hard despite being undermanned. You want to look at that team, man. They lose guys left and right, and they're still playing like they have all their guys there.
Yeah.
Houston, OKC. I mean, San Antonio also plays hard despite not having all that. They just beat Phoenix without having Wemby.
Yeah, Phoenix is in a very similar spot to where we are as far as not fulfilling their end of the bargain as far as this year.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, hopefully we come out this weekend unscathed, going 2-0, hopefully, and then next week we can preview the two nationally televised games this coming week. We have a Wednesday at Knicks, and then Saturday Golden State, or hosting Golden State. But still, we've been dominated on national televised games, yesterday being the latest one, but next week's an important week just to save face to the national landscape. But
we'll see.
We'll see. Right. Hope you guys have a good weekend. See you guys next time. Guys.